Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial from Tutors, and in today's video it's going to be the price elasticity of demand, or PED for short. So starting off, we need to know what actually determines the elasticity of a good. So factors that make demand for a good more price elastic, meaning that consumers are more sensitive to price changes. So what that pretty much means is if there's like even a small change, like consumers will be affected a lot if the thing is price elastic. But if it's price inelastic, then consumers won't be affected by it as much. Hopefully that makes more sense as I go through some examples. But factors that make it more price elastic, say there are many substitutes. So for example, if there are like 10 soft drink companies at one store and the price of Coca-Cola goes up, consumers have 9 other choices they can go for. So that means the demand for Coca-Cola is very price elastic, meaning even a small increase in price would likely decrease the demand for Coca-Cola quite a bit. Substitutes are readily obtainable. So, like I mentioned in the last example with the Coca-Cola, well, I mean, if all of them are in the same store, then you don't really have to go out of your way to get another soft drink, meaning once again that Coca-Cola is price elastic. The good is a luxury. It is something you can do without. So if it's something like a Lamborghini or something, then obviously it is a luxury. So you can definitely live with just your regular 2008 Toyota. You definitely don't need a Lamborghini. So that means even a slight increase in the price of a Lamborghini would likely make the demand for Lamborghinis go down, and vice versa. If the price for Lamborghinis goes down, then you're more likely to see a bigger change in the increase for demand for the Lamborghini. Number 4, the good is important in terms of proportion of income spent on the goods. So if you're spending a very large proportion of income on the goods, then of course it's going to be more price elastic, because if it's changing more, then you're going to be like less likely to actually buy it if the price goes up. And then finally, the consumer had plenty of time to search for the substitutes. So that connects to 1 and 2. Pretty much, if there's a lot of other options available, then the thing is going to be very price elastic. And things that are price inelastic, it's pretty much just the opposite. I think the first are self-explanatory. Number 3, an example of that, let's say it's insulin or something. I mean, if the price of insulin goes up 1.5 times and you need insulin, well, you still kind of have to buy it. But that also goes the other way. If it's something like cigarettes that are addictive, then if the price goes up, then I mean, as an addict, you're still going to buy the thing even if it's going to cost you more. And yeah, the other 2 I feel like are just the exact opposite. They don't need much explaining. So the very first determinant of PED that we're going to go more into detail with is the amount of income that's spent on the good or service. And just before we begin, it's important to remember that demand, that in the terms of demand, if there is no shifter in demand, so like specifically the things that actually shift the demand curve and not just move up and down, it's very important to know that changes in price will only cause demand to move along the demand curve. And quantity demanded to move along the demand curve and not the demand curve moving itself. So the very first determinant is the amount of income that is spent on a good or service. So if the elasticity is going to it's going to be more elastic if the good is very, very expensive. So if more consumer income is needed to buy it, then fewer will buy the product as prices rises. And you can see this with like cars, vacations, expensive appliances like refrigerators. If the price of them goes up, you're less likely to buy them. Opposite goes for inelastic. So I mean, if it's like a toothpick and it goes up like a couple cents for a pack of toothpicks, you're probably still gonna buy them. It doesn't really make that big of a difference to your income, because these things are very, very cheap to begin with and do not take a very large proportion of your income. And then for like other necessities too, it doesn't matter. Like if they take up a small percentage of your income and their necessities, then like they're even more likely to be inelastic. Something like salt and other cooking staples, as you see here, you're still gonna buy it even if it goes up a little bit. The next one is proportion of income. So it's very similar to the last one, where if it's a luxury versus necessity, as we talked about before, if it's a luxury, then it's going to be more price elastic. So if the prices of like spa treatments increase, then like people will more likely give it up and just go for something else instead. Versus if it's a necessity, so like I said, insulin versus cigarettes, like these are quote unquote necessities, even though cigarettes are definitely not needed, but they're addictive. So addictive and necessities kind of go hand in hand in terms of economics. Next one is the number of substitutes that are for the available for the good. So we can see here that if there are a lot of substitutes available for the product, it will be more price elastic. So like I mentioned with the Coca-Cola example, if there's many cola soft drinks out there, then if Coca-Cola price goes up, then consumers are more likely to switch to another soft drink. However, if there are few close substitutes available for the product, then it's definitely more price inelastic. So they can't really switch easily between them. Like insulin, there isn't really another medicine that performs the same function as insulin, as far as I know, anyways. So you definitely still have to buy the insulin. Cigarettes, especially when it says older consumers, it just means people who have been smoking for longer. They're more likely to be more addicted, so it's very difficult for them to find a substitute for cigarettes. Thankfully, now there are like nicotine. I believe there's like nicotine sprays and nicotine gum, which is hopefully a good substitute because it would affect other people a lot less. And then the next one is going to be the time period. So it depends on how long the consumers have to respond to the changes in price. So in the long term, after a price increase, consumer choices will have much more time to adjust. So, for example, if the price of the thing slowly is rising over time, consumers have more time to find like different substitutes for it. So they'll have more time to choose a different product if the product's price is going up too much. However, in the short term, after price increases, consumer choices may not adjust very quickly. So in the economic short run, for example, if suddenly the price of cigarettes like triples suddenly for some reason, then consumer choices, they don't really have much of a choice but to go after those cigarettes. Or another example of it would be like something like food, like milk or something. If the price of milk suddenly doubles, then consumer may not have that much time to adjust to finding substitutes like almond milk or soy milk or something. So the price elasticity of demand does depend on how much time the consumers have to respond to it. But that's going to do it for the lesson today. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, let us know in the comments below and be sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, then please do not hesitate to ask us and we will try to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching and take care.